So I just went to start this video and I was trying to pick up this lump of mortar, which is only 128 kilograms. Normally I would be able to carry that really easily, and I've only got 91 kilograms in my inventory. I'm just sat here like racking my brain trying to pick it up over and over again. I'm like, what? Wow, I'm gonna have to lodge a support ticket. This is I just don't understand this. And then you realize I'm actually out of premium. What a noob! Fucking sigh. G'day guys, Bloody Drongo here with you, aka Emu, and welcome back to the Fosters Brewery series. In this week's episode, I'm going to be building an archway or an entranceway through here, which I've got marked out, which I talked about in my very first episode. In the last week or so, I really haven't done all that much. I've been fairly busy, but I have managed to raise up all of this land here, cut down a bunch of trees towards the token, using the dirt that I dug in the first couple of episodes as to raise all this. And down here you can see the orchard which I made in last week's episode has grown a fairly considerable amount, and it's really starting to look quite nice. I really like the way it'll. I think once it reaches like full maturity, the trees, then it'll look really fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And down here, as well in this episode, I'm going to be digging a little mine next to the HQ, and this will be leading on into next week's episode, which will be a smithy, which will be, I'm thinking, will be up on this area that I've started to raise here. I'm not 100% certain on the exact details yet, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But that's the general sort of idea at the moment that I'm working with. Now, with the smithy, I think that one will be a bit of a bigger project. So I will be bringing in a few friendly helping hands to give me a bit of a push along with that one, just because I think that project will be a little bit bigger than the previous ones I've done, and will be quite a lot to deal with in one sort of sitting with the time lapses, which is what I usually try to do. So, without further ado, let's get cracking with it. Okay, so it is now a quite considerable amount of time later since I actually started recording today. The gatehouse here, the entranceway, took probably about an hour or so to make. It really wasn't that time consuming to build. Very, very straightforward. I think I may make some tweaks to it. I think I'm going to put down some banners and stuff just to make it look a little bit more interesting, but I'm pretty happy with how it's all sort of turned out. I think it looks fairly nice. I wanted it to have that industrial sort of look to it as a gateway, which is why I've used the iron fence bars, but I also wanted to have a little bit of colour to contrast it all, which is why I've used the non-plain walls at the top to go with the roof, and also the the normal stone Orioles, I don't know how to pronounce it, at the front there, just to give it a bit more texture outwards, and also the green I think adds a little bit of colour contrast there as well. As for the mine, that was by far the most time consuming thing I have yet to do on this deed. It was so much deeper down to rock than I initially anticipated. I must have dug close to about I don't even know, like probably close to 3,000 dirt I think out of this hole. I originally expected it to be maybe about 180 to 200 slope below. Yeah, probably about 180 was about what I was expecting below this that terrace above us now, but it ended up being about close to 260, 270, so almost on the verge of my actual digging skills there. So I was quite lucky, really, to be honest, at how this has all sort of worked out, because I originally was just going to have this road lead up to where these chain link fences are up the top here, but I've had to have connected onto the back of the house here, where I built that experimental little door, which I wasn't sure what it was. I've had to connect the road there because I did not have enough room otherwise to actually make the road walkable. And if I just turn on this, you'll notice that the slopes for these tile borders are all 23. Now normally I'd make my roads 20, but 23 is actually the maximum slope you can have without actually sliding on the tile or taking fall damage as you run down it. So I've had to do that all the way down coming into this pit so that I could actually fit this ramp in here, which was, yeah, I did not plan it to be quite as deep as this. Is pretty much now just in winter it's a massive white hole that leads into a black abyss that leads into the bowels of the earth. At some point I'll probably do a time-lapse video. I'm not really sure how a time-lapse video underground will go, But if it's any good, then I'll post it up as a normal episode, just mining out that and looking for some iron in there, and getting maybe a couple of forges or something set up down in the cave there. But otherwise, I think things are coming along nicely. I've left this little spot of dirt here blank. The reason behind this is I'm going to have to go and hunt down some more linden tree sprouts so that I can plant another linden tree there. Linden tree, because they grow straight upwards, they don't have any branches that impede your vision, especially on slope tiles like this, and I want to plant that there just to give it a little bit of contrast there, because I think otherwise it'll just look too bland, like just with so many stone slabs and just the roadway going down. I want to have a little bit of colour there. So that's pretty much everything I've done, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode as always. If you did, please give it a like. And if you're interested in giving me a hand with future episodes, if you haven't already, please contact me in-game, PM Emu, E-M-O-O, or hit me up on the forums, and I'll facilitate you coming out here and giving me a hand, because I mean, I want to try and do each episode roughly in a day or two. Like that's my time frame, like how much time I have put aside for each episode for this series, and the upcoming projects are just going to be too big, I think, to actually get them done all myself. So I'm going to need a little bit of help, I think. So yeah, until next time, guys, stop playing with yourself and play with somebody else. Catch you later.